You're watching a Highwire Media podcast.
Talk about a fitting plot for the movie that's winning what appears to be the slowest movie-going weekend of 2025 so far at the domestic box office, as well as one of the worst in the post-COVID-19 era. Paramount's action comedy Novocaine easily topped the domestic chart with an 8.7 million launch to ice out Mickey 17, which fell to number 2 in its second frame. However, the studio had hoped to do closer to 10 million. Novocaine stars Jack Quaid as a new kind of action hero who's not so great at dishing it out, but boy can he take it, thanks to his genetics, which make him feel no harm. Duking it out for number 3 was the new movie Black Bag and Warner Brothers' ill-fated Mickey 17 with around 7.5 million each. The latter tumbled more than 60% from its opening weekend to finish Sunday with an estimated domestic total just north of 33 million and 90.4 million domestically. It's hardly typical to see a weekend where not one picture crosses 10 million, but this weekend's result is an estimated 54.7 million in overall domestic box office revenue. Until now, only 2025's Super Bowl weekend revenue was worse at 55.8. It's likely not a coincidence that the top 5 titles all received a B cinema score from audiences. Marvel holdover Captain America Brave New World remained high on the chart in its 5th weekend, coming in at number 4 with 5.5 million, for a North American total of nearly 190 million. The Mouse House notched another milestone this weekend, becoming the first studio this year to see its films amass more than 1 billion in ticket sales. Back to the hodgepodge of new films, the Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still, opened at 3.2 million to round out the top 5 domestically, while indie faith-leaning pick The Last Supper followed with 2.8 million. To say exhibitors are counting the days until Disney's spring live-action event pick Snow White opens is an understatement. Luckily for them, it will be followed by the video game adaptation Minecraft movie. Both are tracking to do solid business, with Snow White alone eyeing a 50 to 56 million domestic launch next weekend. It's pretty low. It certainly isn't the worst. This is another in a series of 50 million range domestic box office weekends, says ComScore chief box office analyst, but that will change next week. As fate would have it, the recent downturn is an all-too brutal reminder that theaters have yet to fully recover from the pandemic. Coupled with the 2023 labor strikes, March 20th, 2025 will mark the 5th year anniversary of when theaters across America were shattered due to the overall lockdown. And now on to our next topic. 2024 was a pretty good year for A24, the acclaimed production and distribution company that's given us such hits as Everything Everywhere All at Once, Moonlight, Civil War, and the X trilogy. Unfortunately, the same can't be said of 2025, at least yet. I mean, it is early, it's only March, as things have gotten off to a rocky start for them. They've released just 3 films thus far. Their latest offering, Opus, has now set a dismal box office record. Her Variety this past weekend was one of the worst in recent memory. Like we mentioned, all films earned a combined total of just $52 million, including 5 nationwide releases. That news wasn't bad enough. A24's Opus was among them and earned just $1 million across a little more than 1,700 theaters, would put it in 12th place overall. It now has the distinction of having the 10th worst opening ever for a movie that released in 1,500 theaters or more. Featuring the directorial debut of Mark Anthony Green, Opus is all about a journalist, Ariel Ecton, one of 6 guests invited to attend a listening party for 90s pop superstar Alfred Moretti, played by John Malkovich, who had just come out of retirement with a new album. Surrounded by his cult of sycophants, she soon discovers his twisted plans for the gathering. The premise sounds decent enough, not a little similar to films like Midsummer and The Menu, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to carry the surrealist thriller to success. Despite the star power of Malkovich, Opus was largely panned by critics this past weekend, earning just a 40% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Though it had all the ingredients to provide a scathing satirical take on things like celebrity worship in the media, Katie Walsh from Tribune News Service said the film seems like it's trying to solve a mathematical formula for a zeitgeist grasping success, but in this empty, hollow provocation, nothing adds up. The news isn't all bad for Opus, of course, as folks like Oscar Goff from Boston Hassel commented that the mood of the piece is exceptional, a sinister, slow burn psychedelia, which works its way under your skin. That being said, the positive reviews for Opus are outliers here, as the bad far outweigh the good. With just a $1 million take at the box office against a budget of $10 million, expected to make its way to VOD sooner rather than later, so the studio could possibly recoup some of their losses. From there, it will head to Max, which holds the right to exclusively stream A24 films after their theatrical release. And we recently just got news that Conan O'Brien appears to be the Academy's next Golden Boy, as he is officially returning to preside over the Oscars in 2026, following a successful stint at the 97th Oscar ceremony that took place earlier this month. News was shared by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences on X on March 17th, aka St. Patrick's Day, confirming that the comedian will take the stage for the 98th Academy Awards next year. The star-studded shindig will be hosted out of the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles, California on March 15th. So O'Brien has plenty of time to prepare for his sophomore turn. Forget the pot of gold. This St. Patrick's Day, we're giving you something even better. Conan O'Brien is officially returning to host the 98th Oscars, the Academy wrote in their post. However, this wasn't the only comment that was made on the matter. Academy CEO Bill Kramer released a statement per The Hollywood Reporter saying they are thrilled that O'Brien will be back, along with show producers Jeff Ross and Mike Sweeney, and executive producers Raj Kapoor and Katie Mullen. The viewership figures for the Oscars have been in steady decline for years. However, the 2025 ceremony scored its biggest audience in half a decade, with over 19 million viewers tuning in to see the Hollywood elite collect their golden statuettes. Audiences watching at home commended the production of the show, and most of all, the standout performance by O'Brien as the frontman of the event. He is certainly no stranger to the spotlight, having hosted Late Night with Conan O'Brien, The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien, and Conan, in addition to serving as a writer on SNL and The Simpsons. O'Brien took over the Ostrich gig from Jimmy Kimmel, who turned down the chance to host the Academy Awards for a fifth time, having helmed Hollywood's Biggest Night in 2017, 2018, 2023, and 2024. So he certainly has some catching up to do if he wants to become the show's biggest MC, title that currently goes to Bob Hope for his 19 appearances. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think about Conan O'Brien hosting the Oscars? And if it wasn't Conan, is there somebody else you'd want to see? Let me know. And now we're going to take a look at how a new James Bond expert is revealing a new 007 favorite, and he's a real Kingsman. Following the monumental creative shift in the James Bond franchise, which has seen the reins handed over to Amazon, has left fans waiting with bated breath to find out who will be chosen to take over from Daniel Craig as the next 007. Now, an expert in the beloved action series has not only offered some insight into what we will find out, or when we will find out this key piece of information, but has revealed a new favorite for the role, and he's a real Kingsman. Addressing Daniel Craig's potential successor, James Bond expert Mark O'Connell revealed during an appearance on LBC that we will find out the identity of the next 007 by summer 2025. Not only that, he also offered a major hint as to which lesser-known actor is being eyed to play the lead in Amazon's reboot, Harris Dickinson. While not quite yet an A-lister, often something that works in the favor of any actor chose to play Bond, Harris Dickinson has several major credits to his name, receiving acclaim for performances in the likes of Triangle of Sadness, with Crawdad Singh, and The Iron Claw. Dickinson is no stranger to action and espionage, having starred alongside Ralph Fiennes in the Kingsman prequel, The Kingsman. The actor recently shared the screen with Hollywood icon Nicole Kidman in the huge, well-received erotic thriller Baby Girl, for which he won the Virtuoso Award at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. In a battle of the James Bond experts, fellow superfan Graham Rye has picked another largely unknown name as the only man who could lead the 007 reboot. Graham is the editor behind 007 magazine and recently endorsed the little-known Scottish actor and star of Miss Scarlet, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, Stuart Martin, as the top choice for James Bond, now that Amazon is holding the creative reins. While we await further updates regarding what Amazon has planned for James Bond, several former stars have weighed in following the franchise's monumental changing of the guard. Pierce Brosnan has remained pretty positive about the change, saying it's a given that Bond should remain British, adding it takes courage for them to let go. They will have a say in matters. I hope that Amazon handles the work and the character with dignity and imagination and respect. While former Bond Timothy Dalton shared his disappointment with the move, saying, "Barbara is one of the best women in the whole world. I think she's fantastic. Around a Bond movie, everyone's got an opinion. That tends to make something less special. But if you keep it to people who know what they're doing and know what they want, then it will sharpen up and be good." Barbara had that. So let me know your thoughts on who the next Bond should be. And of course, give us a thumbs up if you like our video. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the bell notification button to be notified of future videos. And of course, if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you next time.